Today, on Be Something Wonderful, 2x2 manifesting technique. Drop everything and try this. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas. For those of you that were on our live stream yesterday, thank you for being there. It was probably our biggest live stream yet, our 13th live stream, our 4th live event of the year, and it was massive. It went, I think, about an hour and 20 minutes, and we hit huge topics. Just thank you for being there. Really appreciate it. Can't wait until the next one. I want to talk about this morning. I had an early morning session. It was my second session with this client. We had one last week as well. This is a new client. And like all of us, he was very focused on where is it and when is it manifesting in terms of his manifestations, right? This whole focus on when and where. And we had the discussion of, remember, it's about who, right? In the who is you, but we went further than that over these last 2 days. And now I want to share it with you because he said, wow, we're calling it the 2x2 manifesting technique because of some of the things that we had talked about during our sessions. So I'm going to go over all of this and more today. Remember, this is some of the things that we talked about. I said, the first thing I said to him is I said, drop everything that you think you know about manifesting and reality creation, because that's what's keeping you to continue asking, where is it and when is it coming? Drop all that. Let's start fresh, clean slate. Remember, manifesting or reality creation means where whatever you give time, space, and attention to becomes and is your reality. In other words, it becomes your experience of that one changeless reality that you really are, that I am awareness. Whatever you give time, space, and attention to, you create that change in the changeless reality. That becomes your experience, or what is the experience of manifesting or creating reality. Remember, creation's finished. In potential, everything's there. But you create your experience of it. The paradox is this, especially with time. Time and space is how you experience reality. In other words, it's how yourself, as all that is, experiences reality. And it's also the reason why often it's not an instant reflection or manifested experience. That's why the 2x2 manifesting technique that we're going to talk about today can help you collapse this idea of time and space and experience what you desire now, or in other words, faster, to make a concession to the idea of slower or faster or instant or not instant. But remember, that's the paradox, that time and space is required. It's part of the experience. You create time and space. You give attention to something and then you create the time and space to have that experience, physical manifested experience. The paradox with that is that you also create this idea of time where you might have a contrary thought or doubt or fear comes in. So we're going to talk about all of this today and more. Really powerful. The 2x2 manifesting technique. I want to start with a broad brush stroke here, and then we're going to fill it in. In the beginning, God. The first and last, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, one God, one energy, one reality. The middle is how we experience it. Right? We give our attention to something and we create the time and space to have the physical experience of that mental creation or that image. Right? One changeless self-aware intelligence, or what we would call unconditional love. Right? How can that awareness, that self, be anything but love? Right? That self-aware intelligence is love. One creation within which all potential and all possibilities live and move and have our being, or we exist in that one creation, in that one awareness, in that one consciousness. That's what Acts 17:23 says. In other words, we create our experience of that one awareness, that one reality, that one God. We create our experience. I'm just going to, a broad brush stroke, then we're going to fill it in. And that experience, hear this, is referred to as reality creation or manifesting. Wow. We create our experience, infinite experiences, of that one experience or that one awareness of God. And we call that manifesting or reality creation. In Him, we live and move and exist. And He or Him knows those infinite experiences as one experience. That one awareness, that one God only knows it as one experience. All the infinite experiences that we create and have and experience are one experience, one awareness. That's how God God knows God. God knows itself experientially, contemplates itself experientially, right? He knows those infinite experiences as one experience. Love is that one changeless reality. It's all love. But to know that one love, to know that one absolute, we create the idea of duality or polarity. The idea so we can know ourselves as all that is, know ourselves as that one changeless reality. We create change in time, in space. That creates this experience of creating or manifesting our reality. Creation's finished, right? So manifesting in reality creation is the experience of change in that one changeless reality, in that one source, in that one love that we call God. That's the first great polarity or duality, right? That you might call love versus something other than love, right? There's no opposite to the changeless reality. But we create that idea so we can have the experience of being all that is. How do you know you're that supreme divine love without creating the experience of not being it or something else, right? And that something else we call fear, right? In that lower mind or that 3D experience, we call that fear. It's unlike love. Remember, there's only one reality. There's only that, but we create this idea of love versus not love or fear. And time is change or experience in and of that one reality. It's experience in that one reality, and it's change in that one reality, and it's the experience of that one reality. Source energy, love. Creating the experience of I am not to experience I am all. That's big. That's what the whole experience of, quote, fear is, right? Right? We're the ones that label it and get fearful, right? We create that idea. But it's really all that is, just experiencing itself as all that is. And the only way to do that is have an experience of not being all that is. That creates that idea, right? And this was talked about in Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh, right? How do you know I am without experiencing the idea of what you are not? So you create that experience of I am not to experience I am all things. I am that entire reality. We're getting to it. So that's why manifesting or reality creation seems the appearances to take time, because you have not significantly changed your experience of reality. Do you see it? Because change within you you are reality. So change within you is what we call manifesting or reality creation. Or in other words, you haven't changed. You are reality. And that's why intense experiences of love or fear collapse time and space and manifest change instantly. You feel those experiences instantly. And they that experience creates that manifested physical experience. Do you see that? Feelings, remember, are the manifested experience of that change in the polarity between I am and I am not, or love and fear, or love and something else, right? All that is and not all that is, right? The conviction of, but what is that feeling? It's really the conviction of source energy, I am. I am something, right? I'm either something that I want to be, or I believe I'm something I don't want to be. But it's that conviction. So stay with me here. Time is change, is the change of your experience or reality, right? So the 2x2 manifesting technique can collapse time and space and create the experience of speeding up your manifestations. So time is the change of your experience of reality. So the greater the change in you, the faster you feel that experience of that manifested reality. Do you see it? So time is just an experience. We put the time and space there. We're going to cover this more. Just stay with me here. This is big today. So time equals change in your experience as source energy. That's what time is, because remember, what is source energy? What is God? What is that one reality, ultimate reality? It's changeless. It's one awareness, one unity, one. So we must create an experience of change within that one. That's what time and space is, right? So the greater the change in your experience, or in other words, intensity in your experience, the faster it manifests. Do you see it? Because experience is reality. So it's not about taking time. It's about the intensity of the change in your experience. It's not about struggling and making it out of effort. You're source energy. Creation's finished. You are already all things. So it's about knowing that. It's putting the attention on what you want. So what's it about then? What's it about? 2 pillars and keys to manifest anything. This is going to be the part, this is going to be the, call it the foundation of the 2x2 manifesting technique. The first pillar is intensity. It's not about time, it's about intensity. Intensity of your experience, because experience is reality, right? Time is experience, time is change. So the intensity of that change determines the time it takes, right? Intensity. Your focused thought or your intention, your choice. That's the first pillar, right? And the second one is persistence. The frequency with which you return to that thought or that intention. So we're going to cover this. These are the 2 pillars, intensity and persistence. The intensity of that thought or that image or that intention, or your assumption of fulfillment or your desired outcome. And then the other part of that 2x2 manifesting method is a 2-second imaginal scene or assumption of that thought or image. 1, 2. Right? Create that and then frequently return to that thought, to that image, to that assumption. And why is frequency required? Why is persistence required? Because remember, when we create that metaphysical image, when we create that thought, that desired end, creation's finished. So we're focusing on it. We're putting our attention on it, our awareness. Well, we create the time and space as well. And so that idea that we create time and space is so we can experience that reality. But the other side of that, the paradox is that gives us time and space to doubt it, to have a thought of I am not who I desire to be, right? It gives the appearance that it's not instant. That's why Jesus said, judge not according to appearance, right? So that 2-second imaginal act or assumption, 1, 2, imagine it, assume it, and it's done. That's your thought, that's your intention, the intensity of that thought. And what determines intensity? You as source energy. Whether you're feeling the love of that thought or you're feeling the lack of it. Whether you're feeling the love of that thought or you're feeling the fear of it. This is what we're talking about. It's returning to the love of that thought, right? And persisting in that. So that's the 2 pillars, intensity and persistence. 2 pillars times 2, the 2-second imaginal scene or the 2-second assumption that it's done. Do you hear it? Returning to that idea. So if some of you have asked me, well, what if I can't imagine it? What if I'm not good at a state akin to sleep in imaginal scenes? What if I just can't get good, clear pictures? Then assume it. Go back to the thought that it's done. Go back to the thought as Neville Goddard says, it's wonderful. Go back to the thought as Lester Levinson says, it's perfect. 1, 2, it's perfect. And return to that. Persist in that. And we're going to tell you why. We're going to really unpack this idea. 2x2, 2 keys, 2-second imaginal scene or assumption. The first pillar is intensity, focus or concentrated thought. It's not about effort, it's about intensity. It's not about struggle, it's about concentration, right? Love and fear are both intense experiences. Both can manifest change fast, right? That's why some of you have experienced, I experienced my greatest fear, because both of those can experience. Remember, ultimate reality is just love. But within that, to experience that love, we create that polarity of love versus fear, right? Of I am versus I am not. So we know ourselves as I am awareness. But here's the key to all of it. The key to the intensity, the key to that focused thought, that focused scene, that concentrated scene. Love is infinitely more powerful because it is the truth, the true nature of reality. It's infinitely more powerful than doubt and fear because it is the true nature of reality. We create the idea of that polarity, of duality, but true love, unconditional love of source, has no opposite. But we create this duality of a love versus fear idea, right? And love is infinitely more powerful because it's your true nature, it's your core vibration, it's who you really are, it's your essence. That makes doubt and fear irrelevant or powerless when you focus on or concentrate on the love of what you want versus the lack of it, right? Because remember, it's not effort. What do we mean when we say concentrate or focus? The definition of concentrate is to bring or come to a common center. I love that. That's what it means to focus or concentrate. It's not about effort and struggle, right? It's to bring to a common center, come to a common center. And what is that center? Love. Love is the center of your being. I am awareness. I am. You as the conscious center of the divine mind, as the center of all that is. Bring that to so focus and concentrate the love of what you want, not the fear of it. Remember, love is infinitely more powerful. Love what you want more than what you fear or doubt. And more than what you fear or what you don't want. Love what you want more than what you fear or what you don't want. Because love is infinitely more powerful. It will bring you all the way because it is your true essence. Because it is the true center of who you are. Right? So feel the love of that thought, intention, or image or assumption. In other words, feel the conviction of I am. Because that's what we mean. We're not necessarily talking about a 3D emotion or feeling of love, although that's what it will translate into. We're talking about the conviction of I am who I say I am. I am who I imagine I am. And then you will feel what we call that elevated emotion of love, of gratitude, of joy, right? Love crowds out all opposites and all other possibilities. That's powerful. Stay with me here. This is big. The intense focused thought, remember, the first pillar is intensity, manifests immediately as an invisible image or reality. That potential takes a distinct form. So the potential of source energy, where all potentials exist, where creation is finished, as you have an intense focused thought, in other words, a 2-second assumption, a 2-second imaginal scene, as you set that intention forth, as you concentrate, as you make it, remember, not with effort, but make it the center of who you are. Decide that that's I am that I am. Right? As concentrated or focused awareness or consciousness, it's real or reality. Do you see it? So as you have that thought, as you create that invisible image or reality, that potential of all that you are takes a distinct non-physical form, right? As concentrated or focused awareness or consciousness. And it's real or a reality. Just as real as any physical manifested appearance. Right? Behind all appearances is that invisible reality, right? So simultaneously, at the same time as you have that thought, that intention, you imagine your desired outcome, right? You put your attention on that, what you want. Simultaneously, you create the idea of time and space between the metaphysical image and the manifested physical reflection in 3D reality. Manifesting or reality creation is that experience of time, space, and change in that changeless reality. So time and space is part of the process. It's part of how you experience yourself as all that is. So whenever you create whenever you imagine something and create that metaphysical image out of that potential of all possibilities where creation's already finished, as you create that invisible image, well, then it coalesces into a physical experience, but you create the time and space so you can have the experience. Do you see it? Manifesting reality creation is that experience of time, space, and change in that changeless reality. In other words, you are reality. It's change within you. In other words, whatever you give time, space, and attention to is and becomes your manifested 3D reality. Whew, that's big. Let's continue this. Time, space, and attention. Well, what is time and space? Time and space is here and now. There's only one moment in eternity, and that's here and now. Everything exists simultaneously here and now. There's only oneness. So we create that idea of time and space to experience that oneness by putting our attention, our focused thought, concentrated thought, or intensity on something that we desire, right? So here and now, the experience of time and space is how you experience all that is. In other words, your chosen experience of all that is, here and now, right? But with the creation of time and space, you create the appearance that it's not instant, that it's not here and now. Do you see it? You create that intense thought or image, but then you create the idea of time and space so you can experience it. But you also, at the same time, create the appearance that it's not instant and it's not here and now. That's why the other key pillar is persistence. You see it? Intensity of the thought, right? Putting your attention on something. Concentrating on the love of that thought. That's the first one. But then you have persistence, right? The frequency of returning to the love of what you desire. The frequency of returning to that 2-second imaginal scene or that 2-second assumption of that it's done, right? So this idea, and so you create the contrary thought. When you create this experience of time and space, you create the appearance that it's not instant, of here and now. And when you do create that appearance that it's not here and now, you also create the contrary thought or doubt or non-fulfillment at the same time. That's there. Remember, God, or all that is, includes all of those. But that's why Jesus said, judge not according to appearance. Instead, judge by experience, not appearance. Right? Are you following me here? This is powerful today. You create the contrary thought of doubt and fulfillment at the same time because you're creating the idea of time and space, how you experience it. But because all thoughts exist, all possibilities exist, the possibility of doubt exists as well. It's not reality, but that possibility is there for you to either declare, I am that I am, or I am not. You get that choice. But remember, when you put time and space, the idea of that was not to put time between you and your manifestations. There is no time. It's all here and now. But for you to be able to know yourself as that simultaneous reality. Right? As all that is. But instead of that, we move to the thought, well, maybe it's not here. Maybe I'm doubting it. Maybe I'm not going to be that. You're judging according to appearance and not experience. Whew, that's powerful. And so where is it and when is it? It's about who, and the who is you. Meaning it's here and now. Here I am, as Moses said to God, answered God. Here I am. But because you give your creations time and space, that's necessary for you to experience change in that changeless reality. Persisting and frequently returning your attention to the love of your imagined end, to that focused, concentrated thought, is what makes it real or natural or reality for you despite any appearances of thoughts and things to the contrary. Whew. This is why Neville Goddard talks about persisting in your wish fulfilled, right? Because all of you going, well, why is persistence necessary if everything's here and now? It is here and now. You are all that is. It's part of, but how do you experience that? By creating the idea of change in that changeless reality, by creating the idea of time and space. But when you create the idea of time and space, you also create the possibility of seeing an appearance that it's not instant, that it's not there, and judging that, and creating a thought or a fearful thought of I'm not who I say I am yet, right? So the 2x2 manifesting technique moves you through that idea, right? 2-second imaginal scene or assumption. The 2 pillars, plus the 2 pillars of reality creation. Intensity of the concentrated, focused thought. Not effort, but making it the center of your being. Making it the center, but focus on the love of what you want, not the lack of it. And then persisting in that. Frequently returning to that. Because you've created the idea of time and space to experience it. So this is powerful. So again, what makes it real or natural is that returning to it. The frequency is what makes it natural. The frequency is what makes it returning to it. Despite any appearances or thoughts or things to the contrary. Do you see it? Doubt becomes irrelevant. Fear becomes irrelevant. Non-fulfillment becomes irrelevant. With these 2 keys or pillars to manifest anything, intensity and persistence or frequency. That collapses time and space and speeds up the physical 3D manifested experience. Try it. Try it. Remember the 2 keys, right? Intensity, concentrated, focused thought, not effort, not holding on to the thought, just feeling the love of it, feeling the conviction of it's done, right? And then returning to that conviction, right, is the persistence or the frequency. With that 2-second imaginal scene, 1, 2, right? If it's you imagining that you're in love with your specific person, 1, 2. If it's you getting the new job, you're getting congratulated, 1, 2. And then returning to that, persisting in that, not out of effort, but out of the love of what you want, knowing that you create it all. You create the time and space that gives that creates that physical manifested experience. That's powerful. 2x2 manifesting technique. Drop everything and try this. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. Thank you for being part of our Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin and our TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, and for being part of the membership channel. We had a huge mega live stream yesterday, so much fun, big ideas, lots of questions, right? And we went on for way over an hour. I think it was almost an hour and 20 minutes in this live event, answered questions that you sent us on to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Also answered questions on the chat. So it was huge, it was fun, it was big, and there'll be another one to be announced shortly. If you're a member, be sure to, and you didn't make the live stream yesterday, you can now watch it. It's now available on the membership channel. And if you're not a member, check it out. There's a link below. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. Until next time, we'll see you soon.